when my grandfather, Francis Pipestem, he said, you know, he couldn't understand that when he talked about who were the Jiwiti Nutachi people, his definition of that was we've been given ceremonies and ways to pray that nobody else was given by our Creator. And if we use those things, that is who we are. That defines who we are, is the use of those ceremonies and the use of those implements of prayer. But at the same time, beyond that traditional definition, he was also the chairman of the Oto Missouri tribe for decades. So he understood that there are people who do not fall into that category of tribal citizens that use those things for any number of reasons. Either they've decided it was no good. Those ways of prayer and those ways of being and those ways of relationship with community, I'm no longer accepting as valid. And there were people who were citizens who were of that mind. Or because of the trauma that our communities were dealing with, they were just excluded from that. And so he understood, even though what he thought was at the core as a created people and as a created individual, that if that's what separates us, there is some distance between who we are as a people by a traditional definition and who the sovereign tribal government decides is a citizen of the tribe. There's a story of one of my forefathers, Sumanye Kathi, who had married a woman. He was from the Bear Clan, Oto Missouri tribe, and he married a woman through an arranged marriage from the Eagle Clan, which was a highly celebrated marriage and highly looked upon marriage. And they came to Washington, D.C. together, he and his wife. And they came here and she was regaled for her beauty. And she came to Washington, D.C. and then went home and got the measles and died when she was home. And the nature of that relationship that that person had as a leader of the community, he had to deal with, even though he was a chief, he went to live with relative tribes because of his mourning. He could decided, I'm leaving my tribal community because I can't get over the loss of my wife. And he went to another community and lived there until for some time they came and got him and made him a chief again. I have a privilege of being a Wajaji Indian, an Osage Indian, in addition to being Oto Missouri. When I was younger, to be a member of the Osage Nation, you had to have a head right or a property interest to receive proceeds from oil from the Osage Reservation to be a member of the tribe. And therefore, if you were from a family where there was 2 Osage parents and there were 4 children, and they decided the oldest child will get all of that property interest, the other 3 would not be members of the tribe. And so we have these strange situations. In fact, that went back to because of the nature of what was going on with the Osages in the early 1900s. They said, we're creating a role, and that's it. These will be the people on the roll, and at the expiration of 25 years, there will be no more tribal government. There will be no more Osages as a legal matter. Hopefully you will continue to advance yourself as a matter of civilization, and we can end this relationship we have with you. Well, obviously the Osages resisted that, and we've changed the rules, and so it's a different definition today. Personhood. I want to talk about the unusual situation of Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, which has caused, again, I thought, do I even speak about this? But the world's talking about it, right? The world is talking about Elizabeth Warren. Now, Elizabeth Warren, senator from Massachusetts, from Oklahoma, which I like that she's from Oklahoma. She has a family story about being Cherokee in Delaware. She's proud of that story. She expressed that by saying, once I was hired by Harvard Law School, I've identified myself as a Native person for a diversity count. I also said I'm going to participate in creating the Powwow Chow cookbook as a Native person. I also identified myself on the state bar exam in Texas as a Native American. Now, what does that mean? What do we do with that? because there's a diversity of opinion in Indian country about this. We also know about her that tribal leaders can tell you, usually when they come to town, you get an opportunity to meet with her, and she will advocate for you. She's also got, some have described, the most pro-tribe platform on Indian affairs that we've seen. So, in my view, does Elizabeth Warren, because of a family story, mean that she's an indigenous person? No. But is she an ally, and on balance, someone that we should be embracing, as tribal leaders have repeatedly done? I think it's fair that they do that.